Know It All Nation. You are in tune to the Know It All podcast. And of course, you got your usual suspects. We got my man Tate at Tate Boy Fresh. Tate, how you doing, man?
Ma, what's good, man? You know, I'm doing pretty good, man. Just another Sunday, another weekend closer to football coming. About 6 weeks left?
About 6 weeks left, man. We in training camp for a lot of different people, for all of the clubs, actually. And we have some news there, man. Definitely, I'm excited to talk football with you as well. G, how you doing, man? What's good, man?
Been a long weekend, man. Been a lot of traveling, a lot of here and there, taking care of stuff with my wife's family. It's been a loss of legacy, and we'll get into the show about that this weekend. But I just started out just to say, condolences to my mother, my mother-in-law. She lost her sister this weekend, and me and my wife have done a lot to help support the effort, to moving back and forth from down the freeway to you name it, to make sure that my mother-in-law's okay. So, and Maddie will miss you, and she got her wings, man. So, love to my auntie. Yeah.
Shout out to the fam, man, definitely. And we suffered another loss. We suffered another loss. Even the football world suffered a loss. And we'll talk about that a little bit later as we get into the show. Definitely, if you guys love the content and the banter that we have, make sure that you like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube and Twitch, so that every time that we go live, definitely that little bell will hit you and let you know that we're here. But before we get into the show, let's definitely get into this. Very, very, very happy to have you guys with us, man. And we want to start out just by giving homage to some greats, some people who have given a lot to the sport. First, we'll start out with someone who's near and dear, my brother's godfather, William White, passed away this weekend, man. G, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Will's actually my god brother. Pastor James White was my godfather. And he passed a few years back. So there's so much that I could say about the White family, everything from, I grew up in 4th Street Missionary Baptist Church, and Reverend James White and his wife were near and dear to my heart as a kid growing up. But the experience of being, close to that family and being around people, because, some folks, they name drop about who they know, who they met, who they were Will. The issue is that Will did all the work. Will, regardless of what people think or say, was a class act guy, man. And you can see it now more than ever, not just with his fight with ALS, but what he was able to do to bring people together. That family with the Ohio State family is huge. Everybody from Curb Herc Street to, I even saw Urban Meyer said something about Will recently because of his connectivity to branding. And then, to have Will, be that for not just the Lions, but the Kansas City Chiefs, but the Atlanta Falcons. Man, there's nothing more that I can say outside of, I think that Will was definitely my role model. He was definitely a great man. He loved God with all of his heart. He loved his children, and he loved his family. So, Will, rest in heaven, man. I'm going to miss you. To me, you were my GOAT. You and William Howard were my GOATs, man. And so I'm always going to say one up to you and always have high praises to White, but my condolences to the White family who took me in as a kid and gave me the experience to be around great people in the Detroit Lions organization and the Ohio State organization. I really was never around the Kansas City Chiefs or the Atlanta Falcons, but Detroit and Ohio State, I definitely had my share of stories, to share about, experiencing Ohio State, Detroit Lions.
Yeah, and definitely. And Tate, him being from Lima, Ohio, man, a Lima native, man. Do you have anything you want to say?
Lima legend, man. I mean, I knew Will from afar. We knew a lot of the same people. We met a few times, but he went to, I think, graduated from the same high school, Lima Senior in '85. He was a monster at Lima Senior, man. I remember going to football games back when I was in elementary school, late elementary school, early junior high, and yeah, he was just that guy. Went to Ohio State, four-year player. I think 3-year starter. You tell me, correct me if I'm wrong, Big G. 3-year starter, 4th-round draft pick, Detroit Lions. And I believe you said something about Urban Meyer. I believe Urban Meyer was a grad assistant coach when William was still there at Ohio State. So
Absolutely.
they had that connection. But from everything that I know from afar and everything I know from the people I know that are connected to him, he was a great football player, but he's a much greater person, man. Just meant so much to the community, and he will be deeply and sorely missed.
Yeah,
Man, that's dope. And RIP, rest in heaven, man, definitely. And we the sports world suffered another loss today. Definitely in losing Bill Russell. Man, Bill Russell, played for the Celtics. One of the GOATs, man. I mean, I said he's very well decorated, but less celebrated, man. I mean, when you think about Bill Russell, him as a player, but you also have to think about Bill Russell as the activist. Bill Russell, was definitely involved in the civil rights movement. You can see the pictures of him here and doing what he does. And definitely, he's decorated after the fact by, President Obama. He has the most rings out of everybody, man. Everybody we talk about in the GOAT discussion, he was top 75 and born 1934, died 2022. Salute out to the GOAT, Bill Russell, man. Tate, I'm interested. When you think about Bill Russell, man, give me your vantage point of who he is to you and how you would describe him as an athlete.
My description and my sentiments regarding Bill Russell go beyond his athletic prowess, even though that was among the pantheon of greats. What his character as a man and the work he did in the civil rights movement, and just the things he dealt with back in the 50s, and playing college basketball when blacks weren't really allowed to play yet. Played for the Boston Celtics, and one of the first to be a major part of, a major player in the NBA as far as from a black athlete perspective. I mean, so I have, and the medal you referenced was the Presidential Medal of Freedom given to him by President Obama in 2011. So yeah, Bill Russell just means much more to me as a person, as a man to look up to. I put Bill Russell up there with like Muhammad Ali, Bill Russell. I put those athletes, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, those guys up there with like Dr. King and Malcolm X and some of those figures, as far as how I look at them and the way they could have conducted and carried themselves as men.
Yeah, absolutely. I second that emotion there, Tate. Big G, man. When you think about Bill Russell, man, go ahead and kind of elaborate on it, man. Tell me what you think.
Well, I mean, I agree with everything that Tate just brought up concerning Mr. Russell and his impact, not just on basketball, but on culture and on the African American culture and community as a whole. I mean, when you really go back and look at Bill Russell, he was part of the active boycott in 1961, where the Boston Celtics players, as a team, sat out and wouldn't play because of them not allowing people to sit in a canteen or whatever to be able to sit down and eat a meal, and then Boston as itself, for those that know the historical standpoint, is one of the most racist cities in all of America. And Bill Russell stood up and was an advocate, not just for African Americans, but just freedom in general, but two things that Mr. Russell, that most people might not know, about Mr. Russell, that I think he did that impacted a lot, was Bill Russell was one of the first people or first NBA player ever to go to Africa, and he not only bridged the relationship with the NBA to Africa, he also bridged the relationship with some of the things that was going on in Africa, early apartheid days and whatnot. So That's number one. And then number two, Mr. Russell started a basketball camp in the South very early in the mid to early 60s. And it influenced guys like, and enabled African Americans to be able to come play in the NBA, like Willis Reed, Walt Frazier, Connie Hawkins. Without Mr. Russell, none of those guys, in my opinion, would have even gotten a fair opportunity or shot, because some of the racist things that was actually going on. And he was a huge influence. What a lot of folks don't know is on that UTEP when they was called Texas Southern. Bill Russell was a huge influence on that UTEP team that went on to beat Kentucky, who had a starting five all-white team, and University Texas Southern had an all-black starting five team, and they played and won. So they broke down racial barriers. And behind the scenes, Mr. Russell had a lot of impact with that. So, without Bill Russell, some of the things that you see in sports today would have never happened and never occurred. So that's why I call him Mr. Russell, because, just out of the utmost respect, man. He's got to be, he might not be the GOAT player, but as far as being a GOAT athlete and spokesman, he's the GOAT. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it.
Yeah, I agree with both of what you guys said, man. When it comes down to it, he's one of those guys that, was a forerunner. He was just a blazer, a trailblazer for the African American community in so many different ways, man. I mean, so you can't really just acknowledge him as a basketball player. You've got to put him as an activist. And you're right, Tate, man. Jim Brown, he goes right there with Jim Brown. He goes right there with Muhammad Ali, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They were in the heart of that movement. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they definitely stood up. And I don't think anybody outside of Colin Kaepernick from this era that we could say kind of knows that type of scrutiny and that type of, they put their careers on the line. They definitely sacrificed their careers and were willing to sacrifice their careers for what they believe in. You got to stand for something, man, or you'll fall for anything. And I think, and that's just not cliche. I always live by, it takes more courage to stand by your principles that you live by than it does to just live. And definitely I send out shots to Bill Russell and his family, and we lost a good one. We lost a good one, man. We definitely lost a good one.
Hey, did y'all know that Bill Russell was the first athlete to start the trend of marrying model chicks?
Yeah. His second wife.
His second wife was 1968 USA.
Yeah. Go ahead, then, Bill. Go ahead.
He married his college sweetheart, and they separated after he had a couple of kids. But like Tate said, in 1968.
Well, his first wife's married like 18 years.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Go ahead, then, Bill. That's why he's doing all that smiling with that gap tooth smile. I smile too. Go ahead, man. Oh, that boy there, man. Listen, definitely excited about that. I do have to say, but we're gonna get into some football news and we'll get into that here in just a second, man. B-Dot already, B-Dirt already coming in with insults. That's fine. I love my haters. I love my haters. And I celebrate my haters. I'm sending Christmas cards this year to my haters. So B-Dirt, make sure that I have your address so I can send you a Christmas card. We'll talk about your comment in a minute. Definitely, bro. He impacted, and I seen a story, and I wish I would have read more of the story, but I seen a story about there was a woman named Aurora that played her character's name was Aurora on Star Trek, and she passed away today as well.
Michelle Nichols,
right? Yep. And there's a story between them two. I think he encouraged her to stay on the show. She was trying to leave the show. Anybody hear about that? Tate, Sean, Big G, y'all hear about that?
Yeah, I know the whole story, man. So she met with Dr. King and Mr. Russell and Muhammad Ali and the other activists, even Jim Brown, because she was trying to walk off the show in the mid-1960s. And Mr. Russell and Dr. King influenced her and told her, said, young lady, you don't realize what type of impact you're actually going to have on, the big screen, because at that time, she might have been the highest, persona as far as an African-American person playing a role. And then, of course, we all know the infamous kiss that went down in 1968 was the first interracial kiss that happened between her and Captain Kirk.
James T. James T was the ultimate freak. He was a space freak. Yeah, James T was a space freak. He got it on, boy. I'm telling you. Hey, man, listen, Captain Kirk would get it in with anybody. He didn't care, man. He was just a space freak.
But the issue is that what most folks don't know about her, she went on to influence NASA for integrating and having a multicultural workforce and workplace. She negotiated some of the contracts for NASA. This woman didn't know anything about space outside of being an actor. And you can go back and look it up to see how much influence she had on impact with integrating NASA being a multicultural workforce. So, by them influencing her, by Mr. Russell, Dr. King, Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, them sitting this young lady down and saying, young lady, you have impact beyond what you see and know. And to convince her to stay with that show, man, I mean, speaks volumes to her, because, none of us really know. We're not 60 people. All of us was born in the 70s. So we caught the tail end of some stuff. But to be around in the 40s and the 50s and 60s for a minority, oh, my God. So, got to give her kudos too,
She was on the board. She was help recruited black women to NASA into positions, and her platform, her exposure at that time allowed her to help them recruit people.
Yes.
You see, that's why you can't take the positions that you have for granted, because you never know the roads and the doors that you're opening up for the people behind you. And that's, definitely, that's hats off. We celebrate both of them, two greats that we lost.
And surprisingly, I mean, they both were about the same age. She was about a year older than Bill Russell.
But they live long lives.
Long lives.
That's something when somebody lives to be 89, 90 years old, they saw a lot. And at that point, it's time for them to end their rest. I mean, it's one of them things.
Another side note about her real quick before you transition. She met with President Obama in the Oval Office in 2012, and Obama confessed to having a crush on her when he was a kid.
Yeah.
Hey, man, listen.
I mean, but what black man didn't?
Yeah, she was bad, man. She was bad.
Yeah.
Hey, Aurora was something else, man. Aurora was something else. James T couldn't keep his hands off of him. I got to have you, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, James T. Listen, y'all don't understand that old Star Trek, man. You may learn a lot from that old Star Trek, but I'm going to tell you, James T was a freak. James T was a freak. He was the epitome of a 70s freak. Free love. He loved everything. Green, orange, red. He didn't care. You know what I'm saying? He liked to get it in. So switching gears, definitely getting into some football news, man. Training camp started. Wow. And I've been able to watch training camps a lot. George Pickens is out here showing out in the Steelers training camp. He's one of the big news and the news that I'm hearing abroad from everybody's training camp. And if you trying to figure out you're just a casual fan trying to figure out how to go watch different people's training camps, Twitter, you get on Twitter feeds, you'll definitely see a lot of people talking, and you can, find the YouTube channels from there. A lot of people find the KnoitAllz from, Twitter, and we got to do a better job of keeping the Twitter up. Poke. Definitely, and I've seen some things, man, but George Pickens is out here making one-handed catches, definitely showing out the receiver group for Pittsburgh. How you guys feel about that news? If y'all have had a chance to kind of sit and see some of that, how you feeling about that as a Steeler fan?
I tell you can answer first, man. You can answer first.
I feel good about it, man. It wasn't in question to me when we drafted him. I mean, had he not been injured, he would have been one of those top 3 or 4 receivers selected in the first round. Had he not been injured at the end of his career in Georgia, I mean, so he's Juju's gone, James Washington's gone, and we step in with George Pickens. Calvin Austin III had a 70-yard touchdown run in camp, in practice. So I mean, I really like the addition of George Pickens. You put him with Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson, so I like our receiver room. It's young, but it's talented.
Definitely young and talented. And I'm gonna tell you, Claypool doesn't get enough. He don't get enough shine for me or enough credit for me. But that's me. G, what do you think about that, man?
Well, I called it out a few weeks ago. I don't know. I think I was a guest star on the BTSC podcast, and I said that this is Young Money Part 2. I think that when we had Mike Wallace, Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders, and that crew, and Hines Ward was the elder statesman and try to groom those kids, and they was talking about how much money they was going to make as wide receivers. This is Part 2 of Young Money. Between Freiermuth, the kid out of Memphis, Pickens, Claypool, Deontay Johnson, they probably have the best 4 young wide receivers in the whole NFL.
Hey, Big G, and when we're not even mentioning Anthony Miller was a 3rd-round pick, and Miles Boykin, who was a 2nd-round pick. Yeah. I mean, they're both. I mean, I was just talking about on the BTSC podcast. That was one of the things I closed when we talking about camp battles. The Steelers, those you got your top 4: Johnson, Claypool, Pickens, and Austin. And then you got three dogs and 2 bones. You got Miles Boykin, Anthony Miller, and the dude Gunnar Olszewski, who was an All-Pro returner for the New England Patriots.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the camps that I've kind of peeked my head into. Of course, I'll talk about the Cowboy camp here in a minute. I mean, definitely, because once I start talking about the Cowboy camp, all the haters come out. But I will say, we're sitting here and I'm saying, bro, like, what is going on down there in Buffalo where you got your starting quarterback fighting the defensive tackles, man? Listen, I like the energy. I like the energy as far as the D tackles going after the offensive tackles, offensive guards, but not your quarterback, man. What is going on in Buffalo down there to where you allow your D tackle to get into it with your quarterback? What you think about that, Tate?
Hey, man, that happened a few years ago, and Cam Newton yoked one of them linebackers to somebody. He straight yoked them. And Josh Allen is just as big and athletically gifted and physical as Cam Newton. And if you get in a fight and you're the quarterback, you really don't got to worry about nobody really fighting you back hard.
Right.
That's a definite first class ticket right out of town. If you fighting the quarterback and do something to hurt him, it might be a little bit of pushing and shoving, but you can't lay no hands on Josh Allen. So it's an easy fight.
Like at the defensive, I'm thinking in my head as the defensive tackle, this is my quarterback, man. Listen, what is wrong with you? G, what did you think about that, man?
The issue is, and teams better understand and know, pressure busts pipes, and there's a lot of pressure on Buffalo to perform this year. So, when you start, so for those of you that are casual NFL fans and all whatever else, anytime you see players, offense, defense fighting in camp, that means there's tremendous pressure on the organization because they have to perform to win. That has been traditionalistic in the NFL for the last 20 years. When you start seeing camp fights, because the issue is,
not just that though, G. Not just that. I mean, because there's some fighting where you see the youngsters fighting the old dudes. Like, hey, man, ain't nobody scared of you. So that kind of stuff happens. But I do agree that what you said, there's pressure on the organization to step up and win. So you see those kind of things. And
Buffalo's Super Bowl bust. Anything less than Buffalo making it to the Super Bowl is a wasted season. So it's Super Bowl or bust in Buffalo. So, that's really what's going on. And that's a hard road to go,
We say that, man, but that's unrealistic, man. I mean, they have Super Bowl aspirations and expectations, but you can have a good season and not make the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is hard. And the AFC got harder this year than it was last year.
Bro, true. And switching gears, my sleeper team this year, man, oh my gosh, the Dolphins. The Dolphins are my sleeper team, and I'm definitely watching their training camp. I'm going to tell you something. Your boys out there throwing dimes right now. Of course, they're not in full pads, but he out here hitting Tyreek Hill
air
throwing
dimes. Air dimes.
Hey, throwing
air air means no true defenders. Air dimes.
Dimes. He's out here throwing dimes. He's hitting his receivers in stride. What's the kid from Waddle? He's hitting Waddle in stride. He's hitting the youngster from the Cowboys in stride. Man, they look good. I'm sitting and I'm watching. Yeah, they're not in full pads, but that type of connection between receivers, man. It just doesn't happen. That don't happen like that. It's synergy, and I'm telling you, they're put together to be special this year. This is my sleeper team, the Miami Dolphins, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if they're challenging in the AFC for a Super Bowl bid.
Ma, you done drunk the Kool-Aid, bro. You done drunk the Kool-Aid.
Hey, if he had said I wouldn't be surprised if they competing for a wild card, I might have got on board with that. He said for a Super Bowl bid.
Yeah, you done drunk the Kool-Aid with this one, bro, because Tua is a 4'7", 4'8", 6 foot tall quarterback that when nobody's in his face, yeah, he can make it look good. But two things he can't do. 1001, 1002, smashed. Or when the pressure's on, can he deliver the ball? Because he can't throw the ball past 35, 40 yards down the field. Tyreek Hill, man, look, Tyreek Hill is known for getting deep.
So that has been a knock on him. And in training camp, the boy's throwing 60, 70-yard bombs. So the deep ball is coming back for Tua. You know what I'm saying? And you got to think about this. Here's the thing you have to give certain players. They've been hurt. So when you play hurt, sometimes you don't look like the full version of yourself. And Tua's been playing hurt for 2 years, right? This is truly the first year that Tua has not been hurt. So let's see. My verdict is out. I can see them really challenging in the AFC and really being very competitive. Are they above the Steelers? Nah, I don't think so. Are they above Kansas City? No, I don't think so. Are they above the Bengals? I don't think so. But could they contend? Yeah, man. They definitely can be one of those teams that are in the mix.
8 and 9, 9 and 8 at best.
Who's their who's their coach?
Oh man, what's that guy's name? We were talking about this early.
Mike McDaniel.
Okay,
trash.
Yeah.
I mean, but no, I'm not saying he's trash. He's a first-year coach, though. I mean, he's a first-year coach coming into a situation where I don't think they've been good really in maybe twice in 20 years.
Yeah,
maybe twice.
8, 9, 9 and 8 at best.
And 8, 9, 9, 8 would be an improvement.
Yeah, correct.
And they do.
That's at best.
And they do have weapons. They got Tyreek Hill and Waddle and Gesicki and Cedric Wilson and Raheem Mostert and Sony Michel.
Yeah, Chase Edmonds went on. Yeah, so
Chase Edmonds went there. So I mean, he's a creative offensive mind. I'm curious and anxious to see what they are going to do. They play the Steelers this year. That'll be an important game because they could be one of the teams in the wild card hunt around 9 and 8, 10 and 7. Optimal best record, but since we sharing sleeper teams, man, I want to put it out there for my Philadelphia Eagles. I think they got a better chance of winning their division than the Dolphins have of winning their division.
I mean, I can hear what you're saying, and on that note, since we have switched and we were talking about the NFC East, I just want to tell you I'm doubling down again, man, and I can hear your voice on the Eagles, but hey, man, I'm gonna tell you the Stars impenetrable this year. They're not gonna be the number one team in the East. They're not gonna be able to overcome the Cowboys. They're not that much better than they were last year, just with the addition of Brown and what they added on the defensive side of the ball. They're still not that much better.
You have to give some kind of credence to to another year of development for Jalen Hurts too, though.
Absolutely.
Correct.
I do give that. And while I'm giving another year of development for Jalen for the quarterback, I'm giving another year of development in the system that Dan Quinn has created. I want to tell you something. The defensive mindset of Dan Quinn and the players that he has put in position, I just need you guys to know. I've been watching a lot of training camp, hearing these guys, their mindsets. Their mindsets is what gets me more than the talent, right? Because a lot of these young gunners is like, man, we ain't just here happy to wear the star on the side of our helmet. We're trying to prove something. And James Washington has came in here. He has some a symbiotic relationship with Dak already. Jalen Tolbert has a good relationship with Dak already. You're seeing it. Dalton Schultz is above his pay grade at this point. He playing out of his mind. He wants that check.
Let me ask you this. CD Lamb and James Washington and Michael Gallup better than Amari Cooper, CD Lamb, and Michael Gallup?
The effort that Amari Cooper gave, yes. If Amari Cooper was Amari Cooper every night, no, absolutely not. But Amari Cooper wasn't Amari Cooper every night. He knew that. Amari Cooper would sit out games. Amari Cooper would disappear in games. You know what I mean? So I will tell you this, James Washington, Michael Gallup, Jalen Tolbert, CeeDee Lamb will be a dang good connection for Dak this year. And Dak will have, you forget that they were the number one offense. Men lie, numbers lie, women lie, numbers don't. They were the number one offense in the NFL last year.
But
they'll be top five again. I guarantee you that.
I know I don't forget that. I know that Dallas has a serviceable offense, but I've already told you off air. I got two issues with the Cowboys. Issue number one, the running game's not going to hold up if Zeke's carrying the ball. And issue number two is that from a safety standpoint and opposite corner of Diggs, can they hold up? The NFL is a cop. Hold on, the NFL is a copycat.
You don't know the personnel. This is me saying
hold it.
Personnel.
Hold it.
Anthony Brown is more than serviceable at cornerback.
Okay. So week one, you got Julio Jones, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, with Leonard Fournette in the backfield, and either Britt or Kyle Rudolph playing tight end opposite. If they come out too high, right, which they better against Tom Brady, and he runs Julio Jones across the field, and the safety don't move, it's barbecue chicken meat to the left. I don't think
you're acting like Julio Jones is the Julio Jones we know him from, a lot of years. Julio Jones has lost a step. We all know that.
Julio Jones might have one of his best seasons this year. Mark my words. You're playing with Tom Brady. He
won't eat enough to have one of his best seasons ever, though. Even if he's healthy, he won't put up those numbers. My question, Ahmad, is Dallas led the league last year in scoring 30.4 a game.
Mm-hmm.
But when it was time to shine in that wild card game against the 49ers, they scored 17.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing, I'm glad you brought that up. And a lot of people don't know, apart from Cowboy land. Well, number one, I forgot. I was trying to tell you, Tyler Smith, Terrence Steele, and my guy, forget his name, Connor, not Connor Williams, but Connor McGovern. They all have went back to school, and these boys have trimmed their body down. We have a better offensive line than we had last year. So here's the thing: Zeke played hurt, and I still I may believe, I don't really drink the Zeke juice. I believe he has lost a step, but the running game will be better because the offensive line is better. Now, to answer your question here, Tate, you have to believe in the scheme, man. Like I said, when it comes down to it, this Cowboy defense is a year better, a year stronger. They've got better personnel and faster personnel inside of that room, and then in that offensive. You're on as far as the offensive playbook, it's being looked over by Schottenheimer. So Schottenheimer's reviewing Kellen Moore's playbook now. We have a Schottenheimer that's watching over the plays that are being called.
So
right?
that's an issue too, because when you got two offensive coordinators, you have none.
No, listen, let me help you with something. First of all,
one guy.
When you got somebody who's grading your paper who could say, okay, because they labeled him a consultant, but what they're saying is that Kellen Moore can get one-track mind in his play calling. But if you have somebody who can say, let's try this, coach, and it will open it up. And Kellen Moore's a little mad because he got snubbed for a job last year. But I knew Kellen Moore wasn't going to get a job. But again, I do believe that the offense stays consistently open.
Hey, man.
We're going to be able to score some points.
Hey, man. Brian Schottenheimer is a consultant to the offense, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Dan Quinn is the defensive coordinator.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Sounds like they setting up to get rid of Mike McCarthy.
Correct.
Mike McCarthy and hire Dan Quinn, because Quinn and Schottenheimer was the coordinators in Seattle during the Legion of Boom time.
Yeah, they were the coordinators. They were definitely the coordinators. But I'm gonna tell you, if anybody gets that job, that McCarthy, I mean, they've been asking this in camp, and Jerry put it to bed. But if anybody gets that job, we know who's getting that job.
You think it's Sean Payton, but Jerry Jones got to give up a certain amount of control for Sean Payton to want to take that job.
Yeah, man.
Listen, Sean Payton is from the lineage of Bill Parcells that says
exactly.
If you want me to cook the meal, you should at least let me pick out some of the groceries. So he's coming in there saying, Jones, y'all need to go to the bench. I'm gonna pick out what I need to win.
But definitely, I doubled down on my statement.
So wait. Before you leave the Cowboys, what's the record for the Cowboys? Because I need it on tape. What's the record?
I've said it. I've said it twice now.
What's the record?
14-3, 13-4, no less.
KnoitAllz.
No less.
730, 731, 2022. 14-3, 13-4.
Barring injury, if we don't lose, if we lose a major piece, you can't hold me to that, but I doubt we do. But again, like I said, 13-4, 14-3, easy. And that's something that you guys will see later on. This is a different team. It's a different Cowboy team. It really is.
Have you honestly, have you been saying this for the last 25 years, pretty much every preseason though? You probably have.
Absolutely not. I have a hope that we were going to be better. Yeah, I did. But I mean, I'm a realist. I would always say, man, listen, I'm gonna be real with you guys, and y'all know that I'm not lying. The year that Tony Romo, the year before Dak came, and when Dez caught the ball down in Green Bay, he caught that. We win that game if DeMarco Murray doesn't fumble. That was a Super Bowl team, right? That was a Super Bowl team. Just stupid stuff happened. DeMarco Murray fumbled on the 5.
That could be argued, but I agree.
Yep. Dez Bryant caught the ball. They said he didn't. You know, it was a wacky thing. And then even Dez's Dak's freshman year, his rookie year, Dak played his butt off. He just wasn't the quarterback he needed to be to take us to the promised land. Now Dak Prescott is 100% healthy. And last year, if you guys go 10-7, if y'all go 10-7 or 11-6, and a first round exit, is it Dak's fault? That's my question. 10-7, 11-6, don't win the division. Is it Dak's fault? I don't know that I would put it on Dak. I would have to see that. See that. You know what I'm saying? Because if the offense do their job and the defense don't, but I'm going to tell you, the strongest part of this team ain't the offense. Okay. The strongest part of this team is the defense.
Defense supposedly win championships, but the last 5 years, quarterbacks win championships.
Oh, absolutely. But I guarantee you, just not to belabor the point, B Dirt said them boys will have a good season, favorable schedule, 11-6. All right. I hear that. And let me tell you something, B Dirt, when we win our 12th game, I want to see you in it. Let's go ahead gentleman's bet. Once we win our 12th game, I need for you to wear a Cowboy shirt. I need for you to get a Cowboy shirt, take a picture of it, so that way I can display you wearing a Cowboy shirt for your mouth. For your mouth. Your mouth gonna got you in some trouble that your butt ain't gonna be able to get you out of. So I want to see the Cowboy shirt on. Okay. And as a matter of fact, we gonna have y'all baby picture because we gonna beat y'all. And you're talking about September let's go back to this, your original comment that you started to show off with. September the 18th, 4:25 Eastern marks the beginning and the end of the Cowboy season. Hey, once that game is over, B-Dirt, I want you in a Cowboy shirt again. So let's do this twice. I'm gonna double up. Well, if y'all lose, I want to see you in a Cowboy shirt. Okay, and I want to see a picture of it. When we get our 12th win, I want to see you in said Cowboy shirt with a Cowboy hat.
Hey. Since B Dirt's a friend of a podcast and one of our biggest supporters every week, that week I'm sure we'll probably won't come on because you won't want to come on till after the Cowboys game is over. Well, why don't we just have a bet, have B Dirt on the show, and the loser wears the other team's jersey.
Absolutely. We'll do that. Hey, B Dirt said, I ain't doing a dang thing until G gets in that corner. You know, G, you were supposed to start this broadcast out in the corner. Do you remember that? You did say it last week.
First of all, B Dirt need to mind his business. First of all, this is a conversation between B Dirt and you, so he need to mind his business. But however, I did say it, and I do owe corner time, so it's legit. I'm gonna get it in. Trust and believe. I'm gonna get it in. I'm gonna make sure I do my corner time.
You know, it might be good for you to start out and do 5 minutes now. Just go ahead and turn around and do 5 minutes of corner time now.
I've already got it planned out. I got somebody doing something for me right now. So it might be next week or the week after. But believe me, when I do my corner time, everybody's going to know.
We need that corner time. That's something we need. And look, for your information, like I said, we lose. I wear a Bengals shirt whole podcast. And if I don't get to 12 wins, like I said, definitely I will wear a Bengals shirt and a Bengals hat. And I will say I'll say who they on the podcast. I got you.
Before we switch the topics, Tate, what's the Steelers' best case scenario? What's our record?
11-6.
That's me too. That's what I said.
But you know, I mean, I'm a realistic fan.
10-7, 9-8. No losing season, but 10-7, 9-8. Growing pains. Legit growing pains. Yeah, that's what for the Steelers. Yeah, growing pains. But will pay off in about 2 years. Pay off big time in about 2 years.
I'm more optimistic than you guys. You know what I'm saying? Let's go through the schedule because I think that I see you guys winning 12, 13 games. Honestly. Mitch Trubisky is not going to be as bad as you think.
Mitch Trubisky might not start.
Mitch Trubisky is going to start.
No, Mitch Trubisky might not start.
He's going
I'm telling you right now, Mitch Trubisky might not start. Kenny Pickett might start. Matter of fact, Kenny Pickett is killing them in camp. I watched every day of camp for the Steelers. And right now, Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky is splitting snaps. So Kenny Pickett might start.
Hey, B-Dirt, I just want you to know, a shirt will only cost you $25. A Cowboy shirt costs you $25. No jersey, just a shirt. Get you a shirt and a hat. So you'll spend about $55. You got a Cowboy hat and Cowboy shirt. Go ahead and do it. It's not a problem.
And then when he's done with it, he can send it to you. But the Steelers schedule, week 1, the Bengals.
That's a win.
Wow. In Cincinnati.
130 yards. 130 yards from y'all receivers. From one of y'all receivers, and at least 100 yards from your running back. Keep going. Guaranteed.
Wow.
Wow.
Game 2, the Patriots at home.
Oh, that's a win. The Patriots receivers in training camp can't even get off of the cornerbacks. They having problems getting separation. Y'all gonna murder them men. That's 2-0.
Okay.
Game 3, and this came out too before we came on. The Deshaun Watson ruling gonna be out tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow morning. Yep, at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
So game 3, the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland, I don't know if Deshaun
Deshaun
Watson's
Watson
playing.
not playing. Y'all win that.
I'm assuming he's not playing at least the third game of the year.
Deshaun Watson ain't playing. Y'all win at 3-0.
Wow.
No.
Game 4, home against the Jets.
Oh, that's a win. 4-0.
No, there's no way. We're 2 at that stage. We're 2-2. Keep going, Tate.
Okay. 4-0.
Game 5 in Buffalo against the Bills.
That's
We're
a
2
loss.
and 3.
First loss. 4-1.
Game 6 at home against Tampa Bay.
Woo! Maybe 3-3 by that point.
4-2.
First game.
4-2.
3-3.
4-2.
Game 7 at the Dolphins.
That's a win.
5-2.
Game 8 in Philly at the Eagles.
6-2.
Oh God, we got a hard schedule. Jesus,
It is rough.
Jesus. I need to hear
6-2.
Detroit or somebody. Let's say Detroit, or Seattle, or somebody we can mop.
Jacksonville. What you got them through 8 games, Mod?
6-2.
Game 9 at home against the Saints.
That's a hard game.
I'm gonna tell you. The reason why I say that's a loss is that's a trap game because I think y'all play y'all play somebody real hard after them, right?
Game 10 the next week is at home for the Bengals.
Yeah. So that's a trap game, and that's the game I picked y'all splitting against the Bengals, right? So that game, I think y'all lose at 6-3 and 6-4 after that Bengal game.
We're 5-5 at that point, Tate. To me,
No, 6-4.
Game 11 at the Indianapolis Colts.
7-4.
5-6. Keep going.
That was game 11, right? Game 12 at Atlanta against the Falcons.
Finally, a
8-4.
cupcake. 6-6.
8-4.
Then we at home against the Ravens.
Oh my God. 6-7.
Y'all play the Ravens twice, right?
Last
Yeah,
game
they're
of
no
the year.
division.
That's a split. That's a split. So I'll take the first one. Y'all 9-4 right now.
The next game is the Steelers at the Carolina Panthers.
7-7.
Wait, I'm trying to hear both of y'all.
7-7. Ma said 10-4.
10-4.
After that, it's home on Christmas Eve for the Raiders.
We win the game. 8-7.
11-4.
The Immaculate Reception game. The Raiders are going to be tough, though.
They're gonna be tough, but that's 11-4.
Then we got the Ravens in Baltimore.
11-5. Y'all lose that one.
And then we got the Browns at home to close out the season.
9-8.
12. 12. Like I said, 12-5.
No,
9-5.
9-8, Tate. 9-8. 9-8. Or I just don't think Tomlin will ever have a losing season. So I think we fight, kick, and scrawl and crack and scratch
12
for the 9-8.
12-5, 11-6, easy. But I said 12-5 though.
I like your predictions, man. I don't know if I agree with it, but I like them.
Yeah,
I mean, I like them. We're gonna be 11-5. I mean, but much like you said about the Cowboys, the strength of Pittsburgh's team this year is going to be the defense.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to be the defense, and I mean, I'm not mad at Big G. I'm not mad at you telling Big G talking about Brian Schottenheimer being a consultant with Dan Quinn. Or Brian Schottenheimer being a consultant with what's his name?
Kellen Moore.
I think that works. I mean, because we're gonna have a great defense this year, and we talking about having Terrell Austin and Brian Flores in the same room together, man. I think that's gonna make our defense better. Yeah. So, you know, I kind of understand how that works.
Yeah, you need somebody. You if somebody is lacking, you need somebody grading their paper. It just is what it is. You definitely need somebody grading their paper. But shifting gears, man, we got the preseason college rankings. And let's check this out, man. At number 1, we have the Alabama Crimson Tide. At number 2, we have the Ohio State Buckeyes. Number 3, Georgia Bulldogs. Number 4, Clemson Tigers. Number 5, Texas A&M Aggies. Anybody have problems to this point?
No.
Who is that? Who is that by?
USA Today.
Okay. No problem with it.
Well, the only issue I would have is I think Notre Dame should be at the 5 spot. And I think in the Associated Press preseason poll, I think Notre Dame's ranked number 5. But Notre Dame and or Texas A&M at number 5 is legit. I just think Notre Dame has more returning starters, more returning players, even though the Texas A&M might have had the greatest recruiting class in college football history, what they just put together with 9 of the top 27 college football players coming in at one time. So Notre Dame, Texas A&M at 5, 6, yeah, maybe. But that top 5 is perfect.
Alabama's going to lose a couple of games in exit. The Aggies is going to be one of them they lose to. Aggies have a really, really great receiving core coming back. At number 6, we got Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Number 7, we have the Michigan Wolverines. Number 8, USC Trojans. Number 9, Michigan State Spartans. Number 10, Oklahoma State Cowboys. I have a problem with number 8. I just believe they're too high. I believe they're too high.
No way.
Well, I can kind of see that until you see it, though. You don't know. I can see, but I definitely see them being in the top 15, though. But 8 might be 15, just a little high.
Top 15, yeah. I just feel like they're a little high at this point, man. I mean, you know, you got Oklahoma Sooners, which is disrespectful. This is where the Longhorns probably should have been in my mind. That's disrespectful. Oklahoma Sooners, Ole Miss Rebels, NC State Wolfpack, Oregon Ducks, and the Utah Utes. Anybody else have any problems? I stated my problem. Number 11 should not be there.
Well, first of all, let me go back to the USC Trojans. USC stands probably the biggest chance to go undefeated. Out of all the top 8 teams that you saw, based on strength of schedule, who they play, when they play, and what they have as far as the offense is concerned, Caleb Williams is a special talent. I'm going to just say this about Caleb Williams. If Caleb Williams came out this year with C.J. Stroud and with Bryce Young, he might go in front of both of them. That's how talented Caleb Williams is at quarterback. And you got Dye and the college football wide receiver of the year, who is not Jackson Smith and Juka, who is Addison from Pitt that transferred in with the number 1 receiver Williams out of Oklahoma at USC. Come on, bro. Them Trojan boys is for real.
Defense, Big G. That's the thing. Offensively, yeah. I mean, I can see it, but defensively, what you got?
Well, I understand that, but they play in a weaker Pac-12, which you can score 50 and win every game, or score 40-something and win every game.
They might not.
Utah's not weak, bro.
Utah's not weak, and they play Utah October the 15th.
Right. Don't they play in USC?
They play in Utah. In Utah.
They play at Utah, so that's Utah's homecoming.
One of our viewers, Natisha, said, "Go Utes." She has a cousin that plays for them. I'm just gonna be honest with you, bro. Like, offensively, Lincoln Riley's doing his thug thizzle. Absolutely, he gonna come in there and do it. But defense wins. You know what I'm saying? And Utah gonna punch him in their mouth. And you don't think Oregon's gonna punch him in their mouth too? You don't think Stanford's gonna punch him in their mouth? Come on, bro.
Who's playing quarterback for Oregon? Exactly. Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly. That's my point. Exactly.
I can be honest with you. They never not have one. Let's say that. They never not have that. At number 16, we got the Arkansas Razorbacks. Number 17, Houston Cougars. Number 18, Iowa Hawkeyes.
Hey, I just want to answer one of y'all questions.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon's quarterback is going to be Bo Nix from Auburn.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Exactly.
So if Bo Nix is their quarterback, Oregon ain't gonna be no pushovers, G. Ain't gonna be pushovers. That's easy wins. Come on, man. Number 19, the Baylor Bears. Number 20, Tennessee Volunteers. Do we have anybody that is like contesting this whole thing? Anybody here that you'd say doesn't need to be here?
Baylor is ranked too low. The Baylor Bears have 17 out of 22 returning starters off of a 11-win team last year that won their bowl game. Baylor probably, in my estimation, is the favorite to win the Big 12. Baylor is a very talented football team, and I would not want to play Baylor. Baylor is a very, very talented football team. So you just can't sneeze at them and say they won 11 games last year and their whole team's coming back. They're going to be better than they were the year before. No ifs, ands, buts about it.
B-Dirt says Deebo Samuels agreed to 3 years, 73.5 in San Francisco, 58.1 guaranteed. Man, I'm going to tell you.
That's about like the DJ Metcalf contract. That's $24.5 million a year. DK, I believe, had 57 guaranteed, 3 years, 72 million, 57 guaranteed.
I'm just listening to be honest with you guys. Thank you, B-Dirt, for the info. I'm be honest with you guys, man. If you're a receiver, you better get that money right now. Because once they see that these young guys are coming in and they not missing a beat and they can win with young rookie wide receivers, hey, they're going to stop doing that. They're going to stop paying wide receivers a ton of money. And that's not going to last very long. Big G was on the money when he said that receivers are going to be either a dime a dozen when they come in the draft now, because you're going to have a ton of them. There's so many talented kids in college right now. It don't even make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The next 4 years, you'll get 5 to 7 wide receivers drafted.
You're going to get 5 to 7 wide receivers every year in the draft, and it's going to be so easy. There's no way. I'm going to be honest with you. There's no way they're going to keep paying wide receivers this type of money at all. You might as well forget that. So if you're a wide receiver, get your money, man. It's written in there somewhere. Get your money. Definitely, we have at number 21, Texas Longhorns. Number 22, BYU Cougars. 23, Kentucky Wildcats. 24, Florida Gators. 25, Penn State Nittany Lions. I definitely think that the Longhorns should have been at 11. Oklahoma should have been at 21. I don't see. I think it's. I agree with G. I think it's Texas, Baylor, Oklahoma State in the Big 12 for that final year in the conference. I can't see Oklahoma losing that much and still being that high.
21, 23, and 25 are bad rankings. I think the Kentucky Wildcats legitimately can win the SEC East and represent in Atlanta for the SEC championship. The Kentucky Wildcats are loaded. Their quarterback is my dark horse to win the Heisman Trophy. If a guy shows up to win the Heisman, we're not talking about C.J. Stroud. We're not talking about Caleb Williams. We're not talking about Bryce Young. We're not talking about Travion Henderson, Bijan Robinson, or Jackson Smith-Njigba, or even Will Anderson, the defensive end out of Alabama. Kentucky quarterback is my dark horse to win the Heisman Trophy. He's really that good.
Did y'all have the Wisconsin? Was Wisconsin there?
Not ranked.
We're not.
Not ranked. They're ranked in the AP, but they're not ranked in the USA Today.
Yeah. ESPN got them at 21.
Right. Penn State is also way low. The Penn State Nittany Lions are loaded. They are going to give Ohio State. Ohio State has a seriously tough schedule this year. People might say, I'm telling you, it's going to be a gauntlet for them. Now, do they have the highest percentage? I think ESPN gave them 32.1% chance of going undefeated for the season. But Penn State is ranked too low. And I really do believe Texas might be ranked a little low. I told Maude off air that I think that they give Alabama a run for their money, which is actually Texas' first game, but not Alabama's first game.
Big G, Maude.
Yeah.
Kentucky's quarterback name is Will Levis. You're looking for that.
Yes.
Penn State is ranked 16 in ESPN.
Yes.
I think Texas is higher in ESPN too.
They should be.
They got the Aggies at 5.
See, I put Notre Dame at 5.
They got the Miami Hurricanes at 9. I don't remember seeing them. Did we see them?
No, but Miami's a year away. They're having an outstanding recruiting class.
ESPN has the Longhorns at 7.
That's too high. That's too high.
You on mute, Ma.
Yeah.
You on mute.
Yeah.
Between 7 to 11, I'll take that ranking. I think 11 until we prove it against Alabama. I mean, but you got Isaiah Neyor from the wide receiver that transferred from Wyoming who was balling. You know what I'm saying? You also still have Jordan Winnington, and you got Xavier Worthy, who's one of the best wide receivers in college football. You know what I'm saying? And you got the boy who's running this whole thing, Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers is a dog. You know what I'm saying?
But Ma, we're talking about, and I said this off air, and I'm going to give this to all our viewers and all our listeners. When it comes down to the game, Texas has not recruited enough to beat Bama late in the fourth quarter. That's the issue. They have outstanding talent. I think their quarterback, running back, wide receiver combo is second only to Ohio State in the country. Maybe USC. They might be third. With USC lining up with Addison, Dye, Caleb Williams. Ohio State lining up with Jackson Smith and Juka, C.J. Stroud, and Travion Henderson. They're three with Worthy, Bijan Robinson. Well, you're third because Ewers is an unknown commodity. Ewers is not better than Caleb Williams. So I would say third as far as 1, 2, 3. But the issue is that's not going to be the difference in the game. The difference in the game with Alabama is going to be in the fourth quarter when Alabama's running 2 and 3 teams deep out on the field. I think Texas gives up the ghost. But it's going to be a good loss because sometimes when you're a young team, you got to lose like that to make you play for the rest of the season. Because I think if Texas drops to Bama, I would not be shocked if Texas does not drop another game. I would not, if they went all the way through the Big 12 championship and at the end of the thing, they're looking like I should be in the playoff because all we lost to was Bama. So I would say Texas has an opportunity, but just not week one. Not week one, not against Will Anderson, the defending Heisman Trophy champion.
That's actually our second game.
Yeah, it's your first game's a cupcake. It's a scrimmage. The week one for y'all to actually counts is against Bama, and I think y'all drop week one against week 2 against Bama. But it's going to be a good loss. It's going to be a good loss.
Notre Dame, USC, the same Saturday as Ohio State, Michigan.
Correct.
And we get Auburn, Alabama. That's going to be a heck of a day. The Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Wow, that's going to be a weekend right there, man.
That Notre Dame Ohio State game, y'all, I'm telling y'all, that's going to be an instant classic. That game is going to be 42-38. Whoever got the ball last wins. I'm telling you right now. I
actually got Ohio State winning by 14 points, man. Marcus Freeman talked too much, the coach at Notre Dame, and they're going to put it on Notre Dame, man.
I wouldn't say that.
I think that's why that Alabama-Texas game is going to be. Whoever got the ball last is going to win it. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I think Alabama don't have enough to stop Texas offense. I'm not as confident in Texas' defense as I am in their offense. Their offense is second to none. I would agree. I'll take third until Quinn proves that he can do it. But, I mean, this is the highest-rated quarterback. I mean,
Alabama,
since Vince Young to run the halls of Texas, baby. You know
Alabama has one guy that's unblockable. Matter of fact, they have the number one, and y'all heard it here on the KnoitAllz first. Will Anderson Jr. will be the number one draft pick in this year's NFL draft. He's going number one. Will Anderson Jr. is Chase Young, Joey Bosa. He's that guy. I'm telling you, Jadeveon Clowney, which didn't pan out in the league, but in the SEC defensive end, this kid might be the best defensive end to come out of the SEC since Javon Curse out of Florida.
Oh wow!
He might be the best defensive end to come out since Javon Curse.
This is a hot take. It's a hot take, man.
I'm telling you, he's really that good.
Big burner.
Listen, I hate Bama. I hate Bama. I hate the bias about Bama. Y'all know that. But I got to give props where it is. I watched tape of Will Anderson. Will Anderson's a pro's pro right now. Right now. He don't have to play another down for Alabama and show up. And this kid is really that good.
Big G. He's good, but he won't go number one. Everybody you name went number 1 and number 2. He won't be the number 1 draft pick.
Listen.
The only way he doesn't go 1 is because Stroud will go 1 because the team wants a quarterback. That's the only way he won't go 1.
Here's what I say. If they don't get any push from anybody else on that defensive line, it's still going to be hard because he's going to get chipped. He's going to get double and triple teamed. So, I mean, you know this as well as I do. Chase Young was getting double team, triple team, and that's when you find out you're a monster, that you can fight through that and still get pressure on the quarterback. So we got to figure that out. We got to figure that out. You know what I'm saying?
Will Anderson is the best defensive lineman in college right now. He's the best defensive player in college right now.
I have no arguments, but you got to prove it. You're going to have to get out there and you're going to have to prove it.
He did last year. Outside of the Georgia Bulldogs defense, he was the best defensive player in the country.
You did that with other defensive tackles and other defensive ends on your ball club that helped you get open. When you got
Alabama had no defensive lineman go in the first 2 rounds of the draft. They had no. He was. Believe me, what I'm telling you, they were by committee, but Will Anderson was above and beyond. And I can't stand Bama, and everybody knows it. But I'm calling a spade a spade. Will Anderson is the truth.
We'll definitely see. But I think Bama has 2 losses this year, and they have them early. Texas A&M, Texas. They're going to lose to 2 Texas teams. And the Texas A&M game, you can put that in your back pocket. You can go ahead and write that one in. You know what I'm saying?
Who's playing quarterback for Texas A&M?
Same guy that was there last year. He came back. I forgot.
They got a grad transfer. They got a transfer that came in.
What's his name?
I can't think of his name off the back, but it's not the same guy.
Let me see.
And I don't think he's good enough to beat Bama. He's not good enough to beat Alabama. Bro. See that when games come down to games, bro, in college football, it comes down to who's under quarterback. I'm telling you right now, Tate made me a believer about this because I wasn't a believer. When Tate told me about who C.J. Stroud was, I had fears, I had doubts. I said, nah, not really. And then I saw what he did under pressure. Quarterbacks win championships.
Is it the kid transfer from LSU, Max Johnson?
Yes, Max Johnson. That's his name. He's going to start quarterback this year for A&M. But quarterbacks win championships. And who Texas A&M has under center is not good enough to beat Alabama. They're not overwhelmingly. This is not like Ken Dorsey lining up with the 2002 Miami Hurricanes, where they were so much more talented across the board that they could beat every team that they played, with Ken Dorsey being a flaw at quarterback. This is not that. So that's what I'm saying. In college football, your quarterback has to be a dog. If your quarterback's not your best player, you stand no chance. You stand no chance to win.
Their receiving crew is back, and I'm gonna be honest with you. They have some all-conference receivers still left, and then they have an all-conference tight end as well.
Last I checked, the ball got to get hiked from the center to the quarterback.
It's the defense,
and the quarterback's got to put it where it needs to go.
It's the defense. It's the defense that you're about to
happen.
See. Texas A&M defense is ridiculous, bro. You can say what you want, but their defense is ridiculous.
If those super freshmen come in here and do what they do, then maybe. Because I'm telling you, they got 9 of the top 27 high school football players in the country last year. And 3 of those kids are pros right now. The number 1, the number 3, and number 5 players, they're NFL players right now. So maybe.
I'm just trying to tell you that and Texas A&M always has an offensive lineman and defensive lineman that goes 1-2 in the first 2 rounds of the draft. They always have some. Like I said to you, listen, that's going to be a game you can write that check and put that in your back pocket.
Last thing I just want to say about college football: if Bama does not make the playoff, if Bama doesn't make it, you will see more push for an expansion for the playoff than you've never seen before. Next year you'll have 8 teams. If Bama and Notre Dame don't make the playoff this year, you will see more push to go to an 8-team playoff than you've ever seen before.
It's going to happen anyway. I mean, whoever don't make the playoffs is going to happen because it's going to be an argument that team was good enough to compete for the Natty. So it's going to happen anyway. It don't got to be Bama and Notre Dame. It could be Penn State and USC.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know I don't know about the Trojans, bro. But I think if Bama doesn't make the playoff, I think it's going to be
Big G. The playoffs overall over the viewers over the country is tired of always seeing majority SEC teams. Second would be Big Ten teams, And then the West Coast won some. They haven't, outside of Oregon once or twice. They ain't had nobody in the college football playoffs.
They went twice, Oregon and Washington. That's it.
Washington did go one time. They got mud stomped.
Listen, man. Listen, I honestly, I just think this is gonna be the year you're gonna see Bama drop 2. You're gonna definitely see them drop 2 real fast, and it's gonna be like, wow, okay. So parting shots, you guys. Parting shots. I'll start with you, Tate. Give me a parting shot, baby.
Man, I've always feel put on the spot when we go to this part of the show, man. Cause I never really have nothing, man. But I watched that. I don't know if y'all watched that Rise, Giannis's movie about Giannis.
Yeah.
Giannis.
Yeah.
Y'all watched it?
I haven't watched it yet, but I've seen it.
It's really good. I watched it last night. It's really good. So, shout out to the viewers. Check out that movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Big G, parting shot.
Parting shot is we talk about it sometimes on the show. We don't get to it a lot, but to Major League Baseball. The home run derby this year was outstanding. I really enjoyed it. I actually watched it all the way through, and it's the first time in a long time I actually watched the derby. I like the fight that's going on in the divisions, and shout out always to my Philadelphia Phillies, who's right there for a wild card berth this year in the playoffs. But
I posted on the KnoitAllz Facebook page, man, about some old Philadelphia Philly pictures of Mike Smith and Pete Rose, man, and commented you in it, asking the question. You ain't never answered the question, man.
I never even seen it, but I'm gonna go back and look for it. But yeah, but that's where I fell in love with the Phillies, with Schmidt and Pete Rose and them, man. The Phillies, man, it's my squad, boy. The Philadelphia, that off maroon red uniform, all bang. Yeah, let's go Phillies, man. Let's go
the
Phillies.
Fighting for a playoff spot?
Yeah, they're a half a game back behind or a whole game back behind the wild card. They right there, man. Philadelphia Phillies.
The baseball playoffs changed. They added a team. So how does it work? I don't know how it works.
Top 7 records. Top seven records. Top 7 records. Yeah. So they're either a half a game or a whole game back of the last wild card spot.
So you got the Mets, the Braves, the Brewers. Well, if it's in order, it's the Mets, the Dodgers, the Braves, the Brewers. How many teams is that? That's 1, 2,
4. That's 4.
Then you got the Phillies.
That's right.
The
5.
Cardinals, the Padres, and the Cardinals.
That's right.
7?
They're number 5.
Yeah, the Phillies right there. Yeah.
Listen, man, my parting shot, Tate has commented on it, and he's right. I mean, I definitely put on the KnoitAllz Instagram. If you want to follow us there, we are on Instagram, KnoitAllz podcast. The Detroit Pistons, Sean's Big G's new team, but we're talking about the championship team, didn't have a single player average 18 points a game, over 18 points a game, and beat one of the best super teams in NBA history. That is a perfect NBA team, bro. That is like a evenly distributed team where you had
Rasheed Wallace,
Chauncey, Rip, and Ben, right? They were
Tayshaun.
They were so long they could run that Jim Boeheim zone, and I mean literally, you're not passing through them, you're not going around them. They played defense, and that was the way. That was the brand of basketball that Larry Brown had subscribed to, and Tate said it. Definitely. Chuck Daly was the coach. He was the man. And when you think of Detroit, you got to think about Chuck, man. I mean, but that team, I think, was probably the most. I mean, even the Spurs had people who could score, right? And it's just defense wins championships. And then in the NBA that year, defensively, there was none better than the Detroit Pistons.
That team should have won 3 chips. But what happened was they ran into the Spurs and didn't have enough scoring, i.e. why you should have drafted Carmelo Anthony at number 2. And in year 3, they run into LBJ. And LBJ scores 25 straight points in the fourth quarter and puts them out the playoffs. So that's why they didn't represent 3 in a row for the chip. That Detroit team was very talented.
Good team. But, man, we like to thank you guys for hanging out with us, man. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube and Twitch so that when we go live, you will be there for us and check it out with us. For myself, for Tate, for Big G, we are out of here, man. We are definitely going to catch up with you guys soon. Like I said, thank you for hanging with the Know It All podcast. Peace.